evening and thanks very much for joining us. I'm Brittany Ramsey. The province is refusing to provide details regarding the timeliness of its evacuation efforts in northwestern Ontario communities threatened by wildfires. The Ford government has come under scrutiny from some Indigenous leaders and opposition parties who say the government hasn't provided adequate resources. Ryan Benazzo has more.
This was the scene just a few days ago near Pekanjikum First Nation.
This is 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Hundreds of Pekanjikum residents have already left, and many others from the community of about 3,000 may soon be evacuated to Timmins, nearly 1,000 kilometers away. The Poplar Hill and Deer Lake First Nations were also evacuated earlier this week. About 400 people have been in Thunder Bay since Monday. Meanwhile, Red Lake and its 4,100 residents continue to wait.
We're in a holding pattern.
Mayor Fred Moda says vulnerable community members from a seniors' home and the local hospital have already been taken to Dryden and Kenora. Others have left Red Lake on their own accord. Town officials are now trying to secure hotel rooms in Winnipeg as they brace for a total evacuation due to a fire bearing down from the west that threatens to merge with others burning in the area.
This fire is burning at 40 meters every minute. So it's quite incredible. So again, you know, if we have westerly winds, that is going to push the fire to the west end of our community, and an evacuation could happen a lot sooner than anticipated.
As of Thursday afternoon, there were 86 fires burning across the Northwest. That's down from a high of 97 on Wednesday evening.
Yesterday saw as many as 40 new fire starts in the Northwest region alone. The results of some lightning that had passed through the region in the last couple days.
The province issued an emergency order on Wednesday to help facilitate the evacuations. Moda insists the government is doing a good job, but some First Nations leaders and politicians have criticized the resources put in place by the Ford government. Kiiwetinoong MPP Saul Mamakwa taking aim, saying due to a lack of provincial emergency management, there is not enough air support or beds for evacuees. Doug Ford must make all aviation assets available now and provide more beds immediately. Green Party leader Mike Schreiner piling on with this: First Nations communities should not have to compete for limited resources and space to evacuate from wildfires that are being made increasingly more severe and frequent by this government's inaction on the climate crisis. He adds, this is a matter of environmental injustice. This is environmental racism. When asked directly about concerns over the timeliness of evacuations, the Ministry of the Solicitor General failed to provide any details. Ryan Benazzo, TBT News.
Well, by this time tomorrow, Ontario will be fully into step 3 of its reopening process. With that comes a bevy of new options for those looking to stay active. Those in the fitness industry are elated to finally get back on the job, but the city is facing issues finding staff for its aquatic facilities. Corey Nordstrom has more.
It's the final day that fitness facilities will be as empty as this. The push has been on for months from gym owners to allow patrons inside their businesses, and for the first time in a year, it will be a reality. Of course, health and safety protocols will still be in place, something Push Fitness owner Jen Bisignano does not anticipate issues with.
So first time it was 100, then it was 50, then it was 10, and now it's 50% capacity. So for my facility, because I'm a little bit larger, I'm really not having to do bookings just because we know what the general population, especially in the summertime, is, and we know that that's not going to even come close to hitting 50%.
Bisignano is glad to finally allow day passes with the low numbers of COVID-19 in the city, and with the nature of her industry, she's also excited to not have to deal with an issue currently plaguing bars and restaurants.
I got so lucky, every single one of my staff is coming back, and I just feel so blessed for that. I think the fitness community as a whole, not just at Push, but in all of Thunder Bay, become really dedicated and really loyal to the facility within which they're working out.
Meanwhile, the city is having issues finding staff to run its 4 seasonal aquatic facilities. Thunder Bay's Recreation Director Leah Prentice says they will need to take some time before the services return in full.
Volunteer pool is going to open this coming Monday, the 19th, limited hours, and then the complex will follow the week after on the 26th, again, limited hours. And really, that limitation is all about staffing right now.
Not only did the pandemic force the public out of city pools, but prospective lifeguards were not allowed in the water to receive certification. Prentice says they've been moving staff around to get sites like Volunteer Pool up and running.
Aquatic staffing has been a nationwide challenge for quite a long time, long before the pandemic. But of course, being closed for significant amounts of time, staff getting other jobs, other summer jobs, means we just don't have the bodies right now to maintain our regular hours.
Aquatic services will be back to normal come September when seasonal facilities shut down. But Prentice says if they find bodies certified to fill a position, they will expand hours of operation where possible. Corey Nordstrom, TBT News.
A tornado appears to have ripped through a Barrie, Ontario neighborhood this afternoon, causing significant damage. The storm touched down around 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, shortly after Environment Canada first issued a tornado warning for a wide part of the region, which is about 2 hours north of Toronto. The storm appeared to be on the ground for about 10 to 15 minutes. Footage shows roofs have been ripped off houses and cars were flipped over. Barrie city officials are reporting major structural damage, with some houses partially collapsed. There are also reports of several injuries. Meanwhile, a 13-year-old girl is dead, 4 others injured, and a 51-year-old woman is missing following a boat collision in the Muskokas. It happened Wednesday evening on Lake Rosseau near a busy marina. Beth McDonnell has more.
There is shock and sadness in this small Muskoka community after 2 boats crashed on Lake Rosseau last night around 7:40 in the evening. Witnesses tell us they heard a loud bang. We're not sure exactly how fast the boats were going or what the boats were doing at the time of the crash. Ontario Provincial Police are here. They have been investigating since after receiving several 911 calls. They say witnesses saw several people in the water. What we can tell you from police is that a teenage girl has died. 4 other people were injured, including a woman who was airlifted to Toronto, as well as a 51-year-old woman from Oakville is missing at the moment. She is unaccounted for, and police divers are looking for this woman. So all of this upsetting to locals, upsetting to people staying at a nearby hotel, and upsetting to people who have been coming by in their boats, learning about what happened last night here on the water in the middle of summer.
Very few details have been released following a sudden death at the Barrick-Hemlo mine near Marathon Wednesday night. Around 10 p.m., police and ambulance personnel were called to a possible fatality at the mine, which is located 40 kilometers east of Marathon. Medical staff at the mine advised first responders that the victim, 48-year-old Troy Cameron of Marathon, was deceased. An investigation into Cameron's death has been initiated by the OPP and the Ministry of Labor. A postmortem will be conducted in Toronto. A multi-year plan to upgrade Thunder Bay's traffic system tops next week's City Council agenda. A memo from Mayor Bill Morrow calls for a formalized plan and budget to replace aging technology and sync traffic lights on major roadways, which is expected to trim travel times and reduce idling.
We will see all of those types of benefits. Like you said, traffic flow will improve. Things like, if we're on a transit route, you'll see better adherence to schedules for transit, and then also for greenhouse gas emissions. Those are reduced when you have reduced of the stop and start type traffic.
Back in 2018, the cost of upgrading the traffic system was pegged at $4 million. It's unclear how much that price has gone up. A number of city councillors have previously indicated that they want the work to go ahead. That was one of the reasons cited when council decided not to move ahead with red light cameras. A number of councillors suggested syncing the traffic lights to decrease travel times is a better way to improve driver behavior. Well, 6 people have been arrested and $50,000 worth of cocaine and fentanyl have been seized in the city's latest drug bust. Police raided a North Syndicate Avenue residence Wednesday evening. Officers also seized over $10,000 in cash. Those arrested include 2 men and 3 youths from Southern Ontario and a 30-year-old city woman. The woman has been released pending a future court date, but the other 5 remain in custody and facing several charges. Well, many area residents came out today to celebrate at Chippewa Park. The event was in honor of the attraction's 100-year anniversary, marking an amazing century for the park. Mitchell Ringos has details.
Chippewa Park has been a favorite attraction for residents and tourists over the last 100 years and has been adapting to all the challenges thrown its way. The park celebrated the huge milestone today as much as they could, with 2 beaches, the trail systems, family picnic areas, and the tourist camp all being open for the public. The park also recently refurbished their band organ that played classic carousel music throughout the park. We caught up with some visitors to get their reaction to a century at Chippewa.
A lot of places don't last that long, and I think marking it 100th anniversary is a really special thing. Like the carousels playing over there. It's just, I used to come here as a little kid. My parents brought me here. I used to come here on my church. With the church, we used to have our picnics here, and it was great, just to see everything alive again.
It's the sounds. The sounds bring back the memories. The vision. 1976 is the year I was born. It's very interesting, but it's fantastic. Like I said, I just hope that Thunder Bay can invest in here in this area, because it's a beautiful spot. There's not too many places to swim.
It was a great day for Secretary and Project Manager of the park, Ian Angus, who says it's been rough during the pandemic, as last spring they were down to just 3 staff members. But now that the restrictions are dropping and the public were able to have an amazing day at the park, Angus is very optimistic they can get back to being the normal attraction that Thunder Bay has come to love. Plans are now in the works for a free 5-day family festival centered around the civic holiday, with a possible fireworks display next year.
Well, I think it's very bright. Parks reports that they have had a massive number of reservations this year compared to previous ones. People are obviously wanting to get away from their own home, don't want to go that far. Know that we've got this wonderful facility here, and we're certainly encouraging all to come out and spend a couple of nights or a couple of weeks, whether it's in the RV park or in a tent or in one of our cabins.
Angus says Chippewa has more in store in the coming years, with a grant in the works for a new building to store the refurbished carousel, along with possible plans for a future water park. Mitchell Ringos, TBT News.
Live music returned to Thunder Bay last night, with the popular Live on the Waterfront concert being staged in person for the first time since 2019. A small group of music goers were able to enjoy the performances from atop a downtown parkade. The concerts are usually held on the waterfront at Marina Park, but they're taking a hybrid approach this year to adhere to COVID-19 restrictions. Last night, the first of 4 concerts featured local artists from various genres of music. The in-person event was limited to 25 people on the roof of the parkade, but could also be viewed at Boomers Drive-In or online from the comfort of home. Supervisor of Cultural Development and Events, Louisa Costanzo, says with pandemic restrictions still in place, being adaptable is key to continue moving forward.
I think, with any kind of events, there's a ton of pre-work that needs to be done. But honestly, it's all about being adaptable and flexible and having a plan to go through all the formats of opening for the reopening. So yeah, we kind of planned it in the green, yellow, orange, red section, and then we moved to a different section.
Live on the Waterfront has 3 more concerts on July 28th, August 11th, and August 15th. The event will continue to take the hybrid approach this summer, but Costanzo hopes that by next year the concerts can move back to the waterfront. You can look for an extended road closure on the city's waterfront starting Monday. Officials with Tom Jones Corporation have announced a closure of Water Street between Red River Road and Van Norman Street. That's expected to last for 3 weeks. The closure will allow crews to complete work on the Marina Park pedestrian overpass.
All right, Fiona, a beautiful day in Thunder Bay. Tell us all about it.
Well, we had wind coming at us from pretty much every direction, depending on what time you were outside. It was coming from the southwest, the northeast, the northwest. It just was all over the place, so we're going to call it variable winds, 4 to 24 kilometers per hour. It has been growing over the course of the day, a low of 11, but a high of 28, with more and more sunshine as the day progressed. So all in all, it was quite a nice day. If we take a look at what's happening to the west, very consistent temperatures through most of the region, and pretty consistent skies. Loads of sunshine into Fort Frances at 28, 27 in Atikokan and Upsala, Kenora, 26 in Dryden. Of course, as we head further to the northwest, the sunshine really doesn't matter when it's all covered in smoke. The air quality is very poor, so our thoughts and hopes are with a lot of people in this region, but they're currently at 26 Celsius, as is Sioux Lookout, 27 in Pickle Lake and in Armstrong, 26 in Greenstone with mostly sunny skies, 24 in Marathon. Now the one location, a little bit cooler, Sault Ste. Marie at 22. They had all of those showers and thunder showers move through last night and through part of the day today, but they are now under sunny skies. However, the humidex makes it feel like 28, so now that it feels the same temperature as everywhere else. It's just everywhere else that is the actual temperature. Now, tonight we are going to see another nice evening, clear skies, a low of 12, and winds fairly light from the west-southwest. As we head into the last day of the work week, things are looking pretty good for much of the Great Lakes. A lot of the rain staying to the south, but there's still a lot of heat coming in from the west. It's going to be working its way in over the next 48 hours. I'll have more details on what that will do to your weekend plans later on in the news hour.
All right, thanks very much for that, Fiona. Well, officials in Kamloops, BC have completed part of their investigation into the former residential school site where they found unmarked graves. We'll have details on that after the break.
Keepers oral histories that recall children as young as 6 years old being woken in the night to dig holes for burials,